The history of marijuana as medicine. Marijuana, or hemp plant, is known botanically in the family Cannabaceae and in the genus Cannabis. It grows as a weed around the world in a large variety of climates and soil types. It is known to have been cultivated in China as early as 4000 BC and was then used to treat constipation, rheumatism, and menstrual cramps. In early times, many other countries found uses for marijuana as medicine to treat maladies common to their culture and region. For instance, Africans used it for malaria, dysentery, and other types of fevers. East Indians treated digestion problems, headaches, sleep disorders, and even venereal diseases. Physicians in medieval Europe highly touted marijuana's use in the treatment of depression and anxiety. It wasn't until the mid-19th century, however, that it began to be widely used in Europe and the United States. This popularity lasted until synthetic versions of the drug began to be produced. Although marijuana had significantly less side effects than these pharmaceutically derived versions, it was more difficult to control the potency and response of the individual to doses of marijuana. We sat down with one of California's most knowledgeable medical marijuana physicians at one of the state's premier medical marijuana patient clinics.
In 1937, in spite of strong, noted opposition by the American Medical Association, the US government illegalized cannabis and started a long war in demonizing this plant as an illegal drug, which has affected the psyche of many an American generation.
In the 1960s, during the hippie generation, recreational use of marijuana grew substantially. In an attempt to control this, the U.S. Congress passed the Controlled Substances Act in 1970. This act placed each psychoactive drug into one of 5 schedules, with the first schedule, Schedule 1, being the most restrictive and by definition named these drugs as having no medical use, and restricted their use even under a doctor's supervision. Cannabis, or marijuana, was placed in Schedule 1.
At present, cannabis remains as a Schedule 1 drug in the company of heroin and LSD, amongst others, and has no apparent medical use in the eyes of the federal government. In such a schizophrenic environment where we live in states like in California, where cannabis is dispensed as medicine under Prop 215, and in a national environment where it's still illegal and prohibited, it's very hard to conduct free research into the benefits of cannabis. In spite of this, we are learning more and more about this amazing medicinal herb every year.
In subsequent years, a reform movement began. Many organizations, including the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, the Marijuana Policy Project, and Americans for Safe Access, have petitioned to have marijuana transferred to a less restrictive schedule so that physicians can legally prescribe it for those in medical need. But to this day, despite proven evidence of the medical benefits to individuals, the United States Drug Enforcement Administration has blocked any change. Today, in America, marijuana is currently being used as a medicine in over 1/3 of the country. Numerous other states have laws regarding medical usage pending. With increased knowledge about the benefits of using marijuana rather than prescription drugs to treat certain conditions, an increase in the usage of marijuana as medicine is most certainly expected to rise.